What happened? Feed mill ripped you off and your egg production went down, or you had no eggs? They're going to blame it on some sort of avian flu, but it wasn't the avian flu. It was the feed mills themselves. I believe it was the World Bank put the feed mills up to it. And they quit, they messed around with the formulas. I know, because our feed used to fit in one of these barrels, a 40-kilogram bag. One of these 40-kilogram bags here. I'll show you. This 40-kilogram bag. This is the feed we always bought, 40 kilos. And it fit exactly, the layer feed would fit exactly into one of these barrels. And all of a sudden we had 1.5 barrels. So you could see the wheat husks. They were just filling it with wheat husk and leaving other ingredients out, and our egg production dropped to half and less. And I complained actually to Visu, which is the feed mill, in writing a few times. They said, yeah, the management's going to get back to you. No one ever got back to me. Anyhow, we started making our own, got fed up. I bought some equipment, started making our own feed. This is DZ Organics. We're going to call this one DZ number 1. And this is, because we don't trust the feed mill, we don't have all of our pure organic ingredients yet. We have about half. Half to 3/4. This is actual wheat husks and some other ingredients. Oops, I don't want to lose my. The wheat husks, and some corn blended into here, some soybean blended into here, and a little bit of flour, and some eggs. Added about a couple kilos of eggs in a larger mix. This is just a portion of it. And this is, remember the videos where I was putting the putting all the water plants onto the solar dryer? Well, this is it after it's all crushed up. Well, maybe I'll include a crushing video in here, how I crushed it into a powder. Put this whole bag in here. This is really fine. Plus I got a little burnt when I was drying it, but I dried this one actually in a drying oven, which I won't do again. I'm only going to use the solar dryer. Oh, we need some ventilation up here. Here. So there's definitely going to be some carbon in that. I'm just going to let that air out a bit. So I can breathe a lot fine dust. Not the carbon will hurt you, but mind you, the carbon was actually good for the coal miners because it was going in their lungs and actually helping cleanse their body, take the toxins out of their body. The problem is this fine carbon. That's very dangerous for your lungs because it's too fine and it blocks the alveoli at the same time. And a lot of those coal miners ended up with lung cancer and stuff like that. Just like I used to work in the uranium mines, the radium mines in the 70s. Anyhow, this is, and a lot of people got contaminated. A lot of the native population got contaminated there. This is the mix. Now I have to mix this without breathing. Also going to need a little bit of calcium. Most of my chickens are laying chickens, so I'm going to take this up to about 3.5% of eggshells, which we get a lot of eggshells. And later we'll try with limestone as well to see what the difference between eggshells and limestone is. if there's any different effects on the birds or so. Get a little bit more soybean and corn and wheat husks in here. Now, rather than mixing this by hand, I'm just going to dump this in. And we're going to do a roll mix. Roll the barrel and mix it that way. See how that turns out for us. This is DZ number 1. DZ Organics. Starting today on the 14th of March, we'll be using DC1 for 2 of the cages. So far for 3 days, we've used TJ1 on these guys. And what happens with the water? Water gets black?
Yeah.
Black residue in the water, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And these guys had TJ number 1 for 3 days as well. And she hasn't produced eggs for a couple of weeks, so hopefully it's going to encourage her to get her egg laying capabilities back. She's only a year and 2 months old. Which all of a sudden she quit producing eggs from the mill feed, the contaminated mill feed, that the mill won't answer any of my questions about. And I'm going to show you some screenshots of those conversations with the mill, and they do not respond. And maybe we're going to put that on Facebook and YouTube. Maybe they respond then. And so let's open this up. See what it looks like. Oh, it's really dark. We're going to get dark water again, but we're going to get a nice blended feed here. It's even got some carbon in it to clean the birds out. Detox the birds. Kind of let it mix as we go. And then we're going to do a little testy here. Testy for my bestie birds. Oh yeah, see the dark? The water actually gets dark because of this carbon in the feed. The different water plants that were turned into carbon when I cooked them a bit too long. Probably a good thing. These guys get first. This is a trial cage. Get back in there. Get back in there. You want to see the world? There you go. There's the world. Okay. As you can see, the feed in here, it was a little bit clumped before I finally pulverized it. In the TJ number 1. Now this is DZ number 1, so it's going to be really fine. Well, a lot finer and easier for the birds to eat. See, this actually gets clogged in the feeders. So that was a problem that we've now overcome with DZ number 1. This is going to be really dark, but highly beneficial for the birds. Maybe not so beneficial for my lungs. I have to wear a mask using this stuff until I perfect it or pelletize it. I might just pelletize it to get rid of the dusting. Working with dust is always a hazard, of course. in the cage. These guys. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Who's getting in the way back there? Okay, see? So after 3 days of the TJ number 1, these birds are doing fine. The egg laying was a little bit above normal. We got 1 extra egg, but we'll see how it goes. And they're being cleansed.